here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with the Ship With Me. These are all orders that came through over the past couple of days. I've had kind of a crazy week. I had my sister-in-law and my niece in for the last couple of days, so I haven't been able to ship. This is not a Monday, it's Thursday, but these are just the orders that came in. But some really cool things that came in, some great brands that I can't wait to talk about, some cool vintage, some interesting contrasts. I'm excited to talk about like what I had, how long I had them for, will I be picking them up again? What did I get for them? How long it took to sell? Just kind of bring you into that part of my process. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia, that is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. Without further ado, guys, it is kind of late in the afternoon, so I want to get these things packed up and over to the post office. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipments. All right, so the first order we have is a little two-piece bundle, and the first piece we have here is this super cute light blue, powder blue linen shift dress from a brand called Pure Navy. Now, I am in maximum linen acquisition mode in my sourcing right now. This is just the time that linen is selling like crazy, and this had a lot going for it in that it is not only linen, it's not only a dress, but it's also that like pastel powder blue that is very popular right now. So this was something that we had found earlier in the winter, but while linen does sell all year, it does sell better in the spring and summer, particularly in the spring and early summer. The other piece in this bundle is this adorable little boho top from Lucky brand. And Lucky is one of those interesting brands that I see a lot of, and the styles are often very, very cute, and the quality is always there, but, big but, anything other than plus sizes from Lucky brand just move really slowly. They might move pretty fast if you're doing like low starts in a show, but in my experience for the kind of selling that I don't do live shows. They just don't move. So for the most part, I will pick up Lucky brand pieces that are like extra large and above. And those do sell fairly quickly. They're not gonna sell for a ton of money, so it's something that I'm only really gonna ever source from a bins location or where I can get things for $1 or $2. But the plus sizes do move quickly. This one I've had for a little while. It is a size large, so it's kind of on that cusp. And just due to the like fit of it, the silhouette of it, it probably could have fit an extra large pretty easily. But either way, two super cute pieces, two great summer staples. So I had these, the full price on this bundle was $66, and I had them for 4 months and 6 months respectively. And the bundle price was $56.10, and it popped through as a full price bundle sale. So with a total $4 cost at the bins here and the bins back east, this brought me to a profit of $40.88. So I hope she loves them. Again, just two great little closet staples. That little blue dress is just so cute. Next up was this little duster that I found. This is merino wool, but it is from Zara and the tag had been cut out. But you can't find merino wool, like a duster, a long duster, and leave it behind in the bins, right? Like this is one of those things that even though it's Zara and not a particularly expensive brand, like this is the definition of like affordable luxury, right? If you get something like this from a higher end brand, this is $400 or $500. Though from Zara, I think retail price on this was somewhere in the vicinity of like $85. But merino wool is expensive. No matter what, it's, again, very luxurious. You gotta pick it up. This is like the definition of affordable luxury. And stuff like this should not go to the waste stream. Merino wool is one of those wools that if you're ever like choosing a sweater, it's got really high warmth per weight. That's why you'll see a lot of like base layers for ski. Like the higher end base layers, they tend to be pretty expensive. But if you are somebody who lives in like a Vermont where you have that like to the bone cold, investing in a great pair of merino wool base layers would probably be a great choice for you. Do need to preface that they are not cheap. You're looking for like smart wool or icebreaker. I think Patagonia makes some merino as well. They're a good investment, but just make sure you know how to take care of them, right? Like these things are $150 a piece. So either way, I had this listed for only about a week, which is kind of unusual being as that it's a merino wool duster sweater. I kind of thought I might have this in my closet until next fall, but here we are. So I had this listed for $34 and I got an offer for $24, which I did accept. Again, just after 1 week with a $2 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $17.92. And I hope she absolutely loves it. Again, like if you are able to source it at a reasonable enough price to get a good enough profit on it, even if you don't do Zara, I would consider picking up those Zara merino pieces, just like from the moral imperative side of what we do. Oh, next up is the most fabulous little knit blazer. So this is from a brand called Sandy Knits, which I had never heard of before. And I picked this up. I went to an 80s theme party. So this is something I kind of picked up for myself so I could wear this to the party, but I figured I'd just sell it afterwards. It has a feel very similar, like very similar to the St. John Santana knit, if you're familiar with that. There's no contents tag in here, but I'm pretty sure it's the same constitution, like it feels like it's that kind of wool blend. But either way, this was just too ridiculous to leave behind. You know, it's gold. I don't know if you can really tell, but there's a little bit of like sparkle to that knit. I don't know if that's picking up in the camera at all, but it was so fun. It was such a fun thing to wear, and I'm so happy I am moving it on to somebody else. Remember guys, prep, stuff like this kind of nautical prep is having a moment this year. So you wanna make sure that you use all the kind of preppy keywords for stuff like this. And you don't want to be leaving stuff like this behind, especially if you have vintage pieces. And guys, I apologize. I don't know what is going on in my neighborhood, but there is like a parade of trucks going past my house. And I'm doing my best to like kind of work around the noise, but if you hear a little background noise from the trucks, I apologize. I picked the wrong time to film, apparently. They have been kind of coming around all day. I'm assuming that one of my neighbors is doing some heavy construction right now. So I had this little beauty for just about 1 month. I think it was just under, and I had it listed for $42 and I got an offer for $35. This was an eBay sale, and with a $2 cost, this brought me to a profit of $25.58. And oh, in the meantime, I got myself a wear out of it. So that is a win-win, win-win-win for me, and I hope she loves it. Next up is this absolutely adorable skirt. So this is from a brand called Sovere, S-O-V-E-R-E. Show you the label here. This is a brand that can be found at Revolve, and it's one of the more expensive brands. This was probably about $150 for a linen blend skirt. Quite expensive, but it's definitely a brand to be on the lookout for. Let me know if anybody has ever found any other pieces from this brand. This is the first that I've ever found. And honestly, I didn't know it. I wasn't familiar with it when I picked it up, but the tag looked really nice and it's linen blend. And like this would have been, even if the brand wasn't that great, like this would have been a style pickup, because maxi skirts with a slit, linen blend, like these are all things that people are looking for. It helped move it faster that it was a brand that people would be seeking out. I'm never gonna say no to like a linen maxi skirt. It's just always gonna be in style. So either way, I had this listed for just, again, under 1 week, another really quick sale. And I had it listed for $40 and I got an offer for $30, which I did accept. This Poshmark sale, and with a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $22 even. Now this was one of the less significant pieces. Obviously it was very simple, a maxi skirt, but some of the more significant pieces from that brand are selling between like $40 and $80 depending on what they are. So for sure, keep your eyes out for that label. All right, next up, this is gonna be an interesting one to talk about. So this is a pair of jeans from L'Agence, which is a very expensive brand. And when I say very expensive, these were probably $250 jeans. That's the label there. Keep your eyes out for it. It's not as much of a bolo as it was a year or two ago, but it's still a very expensive brand, and a brand that is actively sold in Saks Fifth Avenue. But the interesting things to talk about with these jeans is, number one, they're a skinny cut. Number two, they are a distressed cut. And I've had these for a while. I've had these for over a year at this point. And I think the reason that that has been the case is less so the fact that it's skinny jeans and more so the fact that it's distressed. One of the things that I've been kind of keeping my eye out on it, and I wanted to kind of do so for a little while before I talked about it to you guys. I just kind of wanted to like confirm what I thought I was seeing there. And the one thing that I've been seeing less and less and less of over the past really year or two is less distressed jeans overall. You're seeing a lot more like you're seeing a lot more like trouser jeans, the kind of flare jeans, a little bit of a vintage look, but you're not seeing the kind of distressing that was so popular for a good decade. I think that phase of denim, at least this come around, because you know in probably 5 or 10 years it'll be back in the fold, but for now I think that we have really seen the end of like heavily pre-distressed denim. I mean, don't get me wrong, like there are people that are into everything, right? Like there is a buyer for everything of every era. Do you wear what you want, right? Like that's the thing. I talk about trends and aesthetics, but at the end of the day, wear whatever the heck you want, because whatever it is that brings you joy in these days, like please do it. We need more joy and self-expression in our world. But in terms of making business decisions while you're outsourcing, I would probably step away from heavily distressed stuff. Anyway, I had these listed for, again, over a year. And at the time of sale, I had them listed at $32, and I know I had dropped the price on these several times over the last year. And I got an offer for $25 on them on Poshmark, which I was glad to accept. I wanted to move these on. And with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $19. So I still made a profit, which is great. It's still a fantastic brand and a brand you should be keeping your eyes out for. But let me know if you are seeing the same kind of pattern with any distressed jeans that you have in your closet. Is that a niche for you? Are you selling a ton of distressed jeans? Is that something that you guys do? Or is it something that you've seen really dwindle down? Like, I mean, let's get ourselves a consensus. Obviously, I'm giving you my experience. What's your experience? Next up, I can't believe how much interest this adorable little dress had. And I know that this is going to one of you guys. This is the cutest little made in Italy navy blue linen polka dot log and look style dress. And I'll tell you, I've been doing this for a couple years at this point. I don't know if I've ever posted anything that had more interest in it than this dress. And I want to know why. Is it because of its linen log and look with a little bit of whimsy? I mean, that tracks, right? Again, dress for some dopamine right now. I'm so interested. And I'll tell you, anytime I see these kind of pieces, I don't, like there are obviously log and look brands that will go to the moon with their pricing, right? And this didn't have any tag in it other than made in Italy. Like, I love these kind of pieces. They sell very well for good reason. They're cute, they're well made. They're breezy, and they're not, $200 like some of the more like famous log and look designers. They give you the look, but again, not at $200 plus. I will pick these up and I will sell them anytime I see them. Maybe not something to pay like $9.99 for if you're in a regular thrift store where you're paying, $9.99 for dresses, but if you're able to source at a lower dollar amount, if you're able to source, of course, at the bins, $1, $2, $3, or on a sale day, or you have, a thrift that charges $3.99 for dresses, like you should not be leaving these kinds of things behind. You will probably get $20, $25 at a minimum on something like this. And obviously if you have something really unique about it, like this is polka dotted, I've never seen a silhouette like this with a print like this, that price can go up for sure. So I had this listed for, again, just under 1 week. I had it listed for $34. I got an offer for $30 on Poshmark. And with a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $22. And I hope you absolutely adore this and can confirm if you get it and it doesn't fit you right, there are a bunch of people who would like this dress. Hope you love it though. Next up, oh, this was such a cool find. So this is from Theory and it's vintage from the Y2K era and it is a stretch linen and it's this baby doll style top. Like look at the way, I love the back. Look at the way that scoop kind of interacts with the waistband there. I mean, Theory just does basics so well. This is in like flawless vintage condition. This has a lot going for it that I'm gonna pick up anyway. Number one, it's of course vintage. Number two, it's Theory, which is an incredibly expensive brand. Number three, it's linen. Number four, it's black. It's just all of the above. This is what I like to call a perfect storm kind of a vintage piece. And I'll tell you, I had so much interest in this. This was one of those things that must have gotten picked up in a Depop edit where I was getting for probably 2 or 3 weeks before this sold, I was getting 3 or 4 offers on this a day. None of them kind of popped through, which is just kind of par for the course with Depop. Nothing personal, it's just how they work. It's just part of the game. But I had this listed for just about a month and a half and I had it listed for $36. And after all of those offers that didn't go through and all of that, it actually popped through as a full price sale. So there you go. You never know when that's gonna happen. But with the $2 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $32.15. And this was a Depop sale. I can't remember if I mentioned that. I'm trying to be better about this, guys. But I hope they absolutely love it. And again, keep your eyes out. Again, Y2K, linen, reputable brand. These are all like little ingredients that make up a perfect storm there. Next up, now in contrast to the L'Agence jeans, this is a pair of vintage jeans from J Brand. J Brand, I believe, is still around in some kind of collaboration with Theory, actually, but back in the day, J Brand was kind of in the same world as like Joe's Jeans and Seven for All Mankind, a little bit earlier than like Citizens of Humanity, but very expensive. These retailed probably about $240 or so. But these were called, I think, the Love Story jeans, and they were a flare leg, somewhat low rise. They're a little bit more mid-rise than low rise. But they were flare legs with kind of like a wide hem on the bottom, which was a thing back in the early 2000s. And it gives them a little bit more of a polished look, to be honest. It's kind of like a trouser hem, if you will, versus like a denim hem. You know, like a traditional denim hem has that little bit of wrinkle with a little bit of like wear on it, so you can kind of see a little bit of color variation. This is a little bit more like the hem of like a work trouser, despite the fact that it is decidedly jean style denim with a flare leg. I'm always on the lookout for these Y2K era jeans. The rub is, most of the times when I find them, they're like a size 25, which is just a tough size to sell no matter what, even if it's like a highly sought after thing. So do your best to source larger sizes. I know we are at the mercy of what we can find, but you know, if you find something that's $9.99 and it's a size 24, 25, like maybe walk away from it. It might not be worth the wait, you know, unless it's something really, really special that you're gonna get $100 for, in which case, completely disregard what I just said, please and thank you. But these were like a perfect vintage pair that just kind of aligned with the time right now. So I had these listed for about 4 months, and I had them listed for $54, and I got an offer for $46. This is on eBay with a $1 cost at the bins. This brought me to a profit of $36.24. And I hope they love them. I mean, these are in like perfect vintage condition. I'm gonna guess that these did not see much wear at all. Next up, now this is a label I do love to see. This is from Quince. And this is brand new with tags. This is a silk pajama top. Quince is coming for those luxury brands, aren't they? Listen, I'm here for it. Like, this silk is lovely, and it's not $250 for a set like Lunya. And listen, don't get me wrong, I love me some Lunya, but those prices are crazy. And I love Quince. This is not sponsored by Quince. My God, if Quince ever wants to sponsor me, please give me a call. I am like a living, breathing spokesperson for them. But they are a really great brand to pick up secondhand. Definitely something that I would feel comfortable paying up for as well, depending on what it is. Like if it's just a basic t-shirt, maybe don't be paying $5 for it, but their sweaters, their dresses, especially their linen pieces, they do tend to sell very, very well. In fact, I had read something, I think Poshmark put it out. It's one of the brands that sells for like, I can't remember how they framed the statistic, but it was like their average sales price is like amongst the highest compared to their retail price of anything that's being sold on Poshmark right now. So, you know, not counting in the things that are like the artificial scarcity where you bought this limited edition Target collab for $25 and you're selling it for $100. They're talking more like, you know, of the things that are selling at a discount secondhand, it is the brand that is selling for one of the highest percentage of retail price. So keep your eyes peeled. And honestly, it's one of those things, if you're shopping for yourself and you are buying new, I like buying Quince because I'm pretty confident that if I get it and I get bored of it in a couple months, like it'll be something that's very easy to resell, you know? At the end of the day, I obviously do this as a business, but I also still use it as an outlet for stuff that I'm no longer wearing. So either way, I had this listed for $36 and I got an offer for $32 on Poshmark. I had it for about 4 months. It is kind of a springy, summery type top, so not super surprised that it is selling now and not then. But with a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $24.60. And I hope she loves it. I mean, is there anything better than silk sleepwear? I don't think so. So next up, let's talk about how luxurious do you want your life to be? How about a cashmere hoodie? Is that luxurious enough? So this is a cashmere hoodie that I found. It's from Club Room. And I think Club Room and Charter Club are like the same, they're both store brands from Macy's, I believe. And I'll tell you, I find a lot of their cashmere. And in fact, my sister-in-law and I went shopping. We went to the bins together this past week and she found 2 more. And I'm always gonna pick up cashmere. First of all, I'm gonna pick this up all year long because cashmere sells all year long. Linen, silk, cashmere are the things that I pick up 100% of the year. And I mean, a lot of people, like obviously I'm not gonna pick up Club Room anything else, right? Like I'm not gonna pick up their button-down shirts or their like cotton sweaters, but their cashmere does sell very well. It's very nice. It's their nice 2-ply cashmere. And it's still very expensive. It's still very luxurious. So don't walk away from it. I would even say comfortably pay up for it. You're probably gonna get like a minimum of like high 20s to low 30s and up. Obviously this isn't like a theory cashmere sweater or a really high-end cashmere sweater, but it is still a cashmere sweater, period. So it's something where you're just gonna have a decent sale price no matter what, just because of what it is. Doesn't matter what label's inside the neck. And these are the kind of things that you will find all over the country, right? You might not have the high-end boutiques that we have here in LA or out in New York, but you know what you do have? You got a Macy's. Don't sleep on these cashmere sweaters. So I had this listed for just a few days. It was just under 1 week, and I had it listed for $46, and I got an offer for $40, which I did accept. With a $2 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $30 even, of course, over on Poshmark. Hope they love it. I mean, it's just like the most luxurious thing, you know, like a cashmere hoodie. That is the level of luxury that I aspire to all the time. And finally, this was such a cool one. I found this little stash of Log and Look pieces, a couple pieces from Bluefish, which is one of those brands that I love to find. And I had 2 of these hand-painted pieces, including this really cool kind of oversized cardigan. And it's kind of cool, like this one is signed inside the hem. You can kind of see that. That looks like an artist's signature. It's on the inside. It's not anywhere on the outside where it's like showing. So I don't think it's part of the design. And I know that these are all hand painted by, you know, like local artisans that the founder had selected to do the work. Bluefish is an interesting one in that it's obviously a brand that people know and love, but it's also no longer around. It sounds like the owner of Bluefish decided to close up shop and move to Italy, and like, respect. May we all be able to close up shop and move to Italy at some point in our lives, you know? But what that tells us as resellers is not only was this already a pretty in-demand brand for the lovers of Log and Look, but now there is a scarcity built in. There's no more being made, so the supply is officially finite. And people really love these pieces, you know? So the demand is there for sure. So definitely a brand, if you see it out at the thrift and you're in the racks and it's $10.99, like do that, pay that money. Like this is something you can comfortably pay up for. I would be really surprised if any thrift stores are like jacking up the price on something like a Bluefish. I just don't think that they're really like necessarily hip to the demand of this kind of style. But if you see it priced like a dress at $9.99 or like a light jacket at $13.99, go ahead and comfortably pay up for those because you will get your money back and then some on them. To put it into perspective, I found this in the Bluefish pieces, I found this piece and a pair of like the wide leg pants also hand painted. Those sold in like 2 days for I think about $80, and this one I had listed for just 2 weeks at $108, and I got an offer for $85, which I did accept on Poshmark. And with the $2 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $66. I love finding these pieces. They're special, they're hand painted, you know? And I mean, again, finite supply on the earth. So happy to be getting these back into the hands of somebody who is going to love them and give them more use. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my life back together after visitors. It's always so crazy when you have visitors come and stay, especially like they stay in the room where I film my hauls. So, you know, my whole like work-life balance goes in upheaval. Not that I don't enjoy them being here. I absolutely love them being here. I have to get my work back into the normal swing of things now that they are on their way home. But guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to to have you along on this journey. If you ever have any kind of content that you want to see, don't ever hesitate to leave it down in the comments below. I'm always keeping my eyes out for it. I keep a little list. I've integrated lots of your ideas into my schedules, and you guys come up with some great concepts. But guys, I've got to get these things over to the post office. So without further ado, I hope you have the most beautiful weekend. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.